So we're on our way down to the car garage at Tullamarine. The boys are going to have a look at the car. It's time for a service, you know. So the naturally aspirated barra swap isn't immortal, although I'd like to think it is. So they'll have a gander and see what's what. Should be tick and flick, really. So while we're on our way there, I thought we'll just have a quick talk about the 7 cars I've owned. I wish I could have owned them all at once, but sadly it's been sequentially, one after the other. So the first one was actually an XD Falcon station wagon. Here's the first photo of it. And here's the second photo of it. I got my license in the mid-90s, I got the car in the mid-90s, and those are the only 2 photos I have. I did love the car. I was a musician at the time. I had a 7-piece drum kit that I used to chuck in that car. It was a good car full of good times, but it was also a death trap because it was wildly it was neglected. It was definitely neglected. But let's not dawdle. Moving on to the next car. It was this. Look, it was a red 89 AU Falcon, and it was from the dealership with those red snowflake wheels. For some reason, I thought it looked freaking awesome. I didn't actually buy this car. My mum bought this car, and I influenced her, and I'm so sorry, Mum. We should have bought a sensible car, but you're a petrol head. In fact, you're a multiple-time Lakeside Raceway in Queensland ladies champion, and you're tallying up a lot of the lads as well. You are not someone to be messed with on a racetrack. So anyway, yeah, I don't know why I influenced you to get that Falcon, but I'm glad you did, because not long after you had it, I bought it off you for $5,000, of which I think you saw about $1,000. I'll pay you back, Mum. Yeah, one of those deals. Anyway, so that car left, and where did we go? We upgraded, believe it or not. We've left the 90s and we're into about 2003, 2004, and I picked up this Congo Green AU Falcon Classic. Just the 6-cylinder single overhead cam. It was a beautiful, smooth car, so reliable. I had that car for 7 years and not one thing went wrong with it, and that's why I affectionately named it Indestructible. Oh man, what a car. Still the longest I've ever owned one car was that one, 7 years. But then my bank account, my income started catching up to my taste. And so the Congo Green AU Falcon was replaced with this, a 2007 FPV Ford Performance Vehicle Force 6, basically an F6 Typhoon in a Fairmont gear, in Fairmont clothes. I love that car, and for me, that was my arrival as a motoring enthusiast. I really, 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 really love that car. I think we're in about 2010 by this stage when I picked that car up, so I was only 3 or 4 years old, practically brand new, and absolutely loved it. The iPhone was around as well. I think the iPhone 3 or maybe the iPhone 4 was around, so plenty of photos and even some little video snippets. Nothing interesting, just cruising around. Which I'll cut to now. Yeah, so I did love that 4.6. But then my bank account dwindled and my income dwindled through a few poor career choices, might I say? Should I say? I'll say it. And when so I had to get rid of the Force just to make ends meet. And oh, by the way, I sold it for $18,000, or maybe $18,500. And oh my God, hindsight, eh? Unbelievable. So when business started to pick up, I eased my way back into the car scene with this 2009 FG XR6, just a naturally aspirated barra, just like this one actually. Isn't that funny? The engine in that FG Falcon is not too dissimilar to what's powering this old XD. Anyway, that car was really refined. Even though it wasn't the Force, the big FPV, it was a noticeable difference in how pointy it was to steer it around, and squeaks and rattles and things like that. I'm not saying the BF, the BA through the BF is a bad car. I love the 4.6, I'll take it back tomorrow, but that FG, in my opinion, was just a step up. So I held that car for a while, and business continued to pick up. And then I was watching YouTube one time and I saw this footage in New York City at the Today Show unveiling the 2015 Ford Mustang. They unveiled it at the end of, or somewhere in 2014. So that's when I was watching this YouTube video. I know the design is polarizing. I loved it. I'm sorry. And I wanted to buy a brand new Ford Falcon, but by then no more brand new Ford Falcons to buy. So I bought this little model to keep me motivated, and I kept that model for 2 years. I took a test drive at Kilmore Ford. So I took it for a drive, loved it. Didn't want to buy that one though, because that was a dealership demo car with a massive markup on it at the time. So I placed my order. 6 months later, my brand new car arrived at Epping Ford, and that was a beautiful, beautiful day. I really enjoyed that. I traded the white XR6 in, and I had a lot of fun with that Ford Mustang. I put new wheels on it. I put a Roush quad tip exhaust on it. Just a cat back, just an axle back. But it made all the difference. In fact, I got a little snippet. I'll show you now. And then I got a race mesh grill. I was the first person in Australia to be a race mesh grills customer. And I got a race mesh grill, a stainless steel grill, sent over from California. And I just think it transformed the look of the car. And that's about all I did. One thing I did do is take a lot of photos, which I won't bore you with here, but what I will bore you with here is I took it to Sandown Raceway 1, 2, 3 times, and I loved it. Racing a car just against the clock is so much fun. I had the Mustang for 3 years, absolutely loved it. They did become like taxi cabs pretty quickly, didn't they? They were just everywhere. Even though mine felt special to me because I had my own experiences with it, and had my different wheels and my different grille and my exhaust and stuff like that. The Mustang modding community is so huge. Everyone is one-upping each other, and whether they mean it or not, that's what's happening. And it's just, man, the scene just got a little bit too big for me. And I'm incredibly nostalgic, and I was in my 40s, and I was like, you know what? I think I want to return to my roots. I think I want to return to getting an XD Falcon, and that's basically how I arrived in this car now.
So in addition to the scheduled routine service, my dash lights were shorting out. So I asked the fellas to have a look at that first. While we're here, I'd like to mention performance wheels. These 17 by 10 gold formula wheels really set the car off in my opinion. The link to their site is in the description, and you'll know you're at the right place because the custard cake tin features heavily on their website. By the way, this is not a paid promotion, I just love the wheels.
Yep, high beam, yep, indicate this side. There you go.